I'm on the bottom of the totem pole here. I gotta prove myself. I can't miss practice.
Fernando Mendoza is facing backlash, both outside and inside the Raiders locker room. After already hinting he'd skip the Hoosiers' White House visit because of mounting pressure, tensions with teammates have also reportedly escalated.
And there's a lot of anticipation coming to this pick, but now I'm really glad that all the outside noise is done.
Turns out it wasn't, because when the players revealed their next move, everyone was shocked. The weight of number 1. Let's start with the pick that put Mendoza in this spot. On draft night in Pittsburgh, the Las Vegas Raiders selected Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. He was the Heisman Trophy winner. He had led Indiana to a 16-0 record and a national championship, and he was now the first quarterback taken in the first round by the Raiders since Jamarcus Russell in 2007. That name alone tells you what Mendoza walked into. Russell went number 1 in 2007, signed the contract, and became one of the biggest draft busts in NFL history. He lasted 3 seasons, and the Raiders have not taken a quarterback in the first round since, until now. Mendoza's rookie deal is expected to be roughly 4 years and $57 million, fully guaranteed, with a 5th-year option. That is the standard number 1 overall slot. It is not a choice. It is what the contract says. But it means Mendoza walks into a locker room with a number attached to him that he did not negotiate. And the locker room he is walking into has problems. The Raiders have had 4 straight losing seasons. 4. That means everyone in that building has been losing. The coaches have been losing. The veterans have been losing. And now a rookie shows up with $57 million guaranteed and the number 1 pick label, and he is supposed to fix it. At his introductory press conference, General Manager John Spytek said this about the selection.
We got our guy here, and just want to thank everybody that was a part of this process.
He then added this about how they arrived at the decision.
In this building, to arrive to this selection of Fernando was not a coronation. He earned it.
That word, coronation, matters. Spytek went out of his way to say it was not one. He said Mendoza earned the pick through his play and his conduct during the draft process. But the internet does not care about process. The internet cares about results, and the Raiders have not had results in years. Head coach Clint Kubiak spoke at the same press conference. When asked where Mendoza fits in the offense, Kubiak kept it direct.
Obviously, the number 1 thing that I love about Fernando is his leadership, the way that he relates to his teammates, and his ability to win.
He then pointed to the record.
We're looking for a competitor to be our quarterback, and he's got, he went 16-0 last year with a heck of a team.
So the head coach and the general manager stood at a podium and said, "This is the guy." Mendoza said the right things too. He said he had not proved anything. He said the NFL was a new chapter. He put himself at the bottom.
However, I feel like I still need to earn it, and I haven't proved anything.
That is the picture from day 1. The front office is all in. The coaching staff is all in. Everything looked right. But outside of that building, the conversation started to shift. And it started with one question at rookie minicamp that Mendoza probably did not expect to become a headline. The Indiana Hoosiers, his former team, were scheduled to visit the White House on May 11th, 2026, to be recognized by President Trump for their national championship. A reporter asked Mendoza if he would attend, and his answer set off a chain reaction that is still going. Meanwhile, over on ESPN, former NFL executive Louis Riddick was not talking about controversy. He was talking about the Raiders like they had just won the offseason. Riddick called Las Vegas the team that made itself a playoff contender. He then rattled off the names: Mendoza, Traden Stukes, Kieran Crawford, Trey Zune, Jermod McCoy, Mike Washington, Dalton Johnson, and 6th-round pick Malik Benson from Oregon. His verdict on the draft class was brief. They nailed it. So on one side, you have a respected former NFL executive saying the Raiders nailed every pick. But on the other side, you have the internet hinting that the locker room wants the number 1 pick gone. The question that changed the conversation. Rookie minicamp is supposed to be boring. It is supposed to be a couple of days of walkthroughs, meetings, basic installs, and awkward introductions over name tags in the locker room. Nobody is supposed to make news at rookie minicamp. You are supposed to be invisible, do your job, learn the playbook, and go back to your hotel room. That is how it works. Fernando Mendoza did everything right for 2 days. He showed up, took snaps under center, something he had barely done in college, and threw the ball with the kind of arm talent that had made him the number 1 pick in the first place. He talked about the adjustments he was making, the footwork he needed to clean up, and the fire hose of information the coaching staff was giving him. He said all the things a rookie quarterback is supposed to say. He was humble, he was precise, he was focused on the process. And then somebody asked him about about the White House. The question itself was straightforward. Indiana's national championship team was scheduled to visit the White House on May 11th, and a reporter wanted to know if Mendoza would be there. It was a fair question. He was the quarterback, the Heisman winner, the most visible player on that undefeated team. If Indiana is going to the White House, you would expect Fernando Mendoza to be standing in the front row. But Mendoza did not give a simple yes. He stumbled through his calendar, thought about it out loud, and then landed on a position that would echo across the internet for days.
I believe May 11th is the first day of OTAs. If I'm not mistaken, I have the calendar.
He paused, second-guessed himself, and kept going.
However, I don't have the calendar, sorry. Well, maybe I do, I'm sorry. I gotta check Teamworks.
And then he committed to his position. Not the visit, but the reasoning for potentially missing it.
If it is on the first day of OTAs, like I said, I'm on the bottom of the totem pole here. I gotta prove myself. I can't miss practice.
He finished it off by doubling down on how it would look for a rookie to take a day off.
I don't know anything official. I don't have the calendar. But I just wouldn't, as a rookie, I don't think that's a good look.
That was the answer. He cited OTAs, cited his rookie status, cited the optics of missing practice, and moved on. On its face, it was a perfectly reasonable response. A #1 overall pick prioritizing his new team over a ceremonial event is not exactly scandalous. Rookies are expected to be the first ones in the building and the last ones to leave. Mendoza was saying exactly what every coach in the NFL would want to hear from their franchise quarterback. But here's where it gets complicated. Reports indicate that Mendoza may have gotten the date wrong. OTAs were reportedly not scheduled to begin on May 11th. They were expected to start around May 18th, a full week later. That means his scheduling conflict might not have been a conflict at all. He could have gone to the White House and still been back for the first day of OTAs without missing a single snap. Now, this could genuinely be a rookie mistake. The man had been in the building for 2 days. He was drinking from a fire hose of new information, playbook installs, under center techniques, NFL terminology, new teammates, new coaches, new city. Getting one date wrong on a calendar he admitted he did not have in front of him is not hard to imagine. It is the kind of thing that would happen to any 22-year-old who just had his entire life change in 72 hours. But the internet did not read it that way. It read it as a calculated dodge, and because the visit was to the White House, specifically a Trump White House, the political machinery took over immediately. The reaction split predictably along partisan lines. Some people praised Mendoza for his work ethic and focus on football. They called it the right move for a rookie. They said he was locked in. Others called it a snub. They said he was disrespecting the presidency, the championship tradition, and his former teammates. They questioned his character. And what happened next on social media was not a debate about scheduling. It was something much uglier, something that turned Fernando Mendoza from a promising rookie quarterback into the center of a firestorm. The reactions. The existing reaction was already loud enough. News outlets from USA Today to Fox News to the Las Vegas Review-Journal ran stories talking about his answer. Headlines asked whether it was a rookie mistake, a savvy political maneuver, or a genuine scheduling confusion. A post from an account on X claimed that Mendoza was feeling the pressure after his anti-George Floyd comments and had to play it safe. That post spread, and the timing made it worse because Mendoza was already under a microscope that no rookie quarterback escapes. Pre-draft evaluations had questioned whether he possessed a truly elite physical trait. Some analysts thought his 16-0 season at Indiana was more a product of the system and the roster around him than his individual brilliance. Others questioned the consistency of his mechanics and whether his leadership style, he had admitted in earlier interviews that he could be demanding with teammates, would translate from college to a professional locker room where veterans do not take kindly to a rookie barking orders. All of that skepticism was already simmering. The White House story poured gasoline on it. The social media post threw a match. And suddenly, the narrative was not, Fernando Mendoza is adjusting to the NFL. The narrative was, Fernando Mendoza is already a problem. When the Raiders selected Fernando Mendoza with the #1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the stakes weren't just about one player. They were about exercising a nearly 20-year-old institutional wound. Mendoza became the first quarterback taken in the first round by this franchise since the Russell disaster. He became the 5th Heisman Trophy winner drafted by the organization, and he walked into a team that had posted 4 consecutive losing seasons, carrying the expectations of a fan base that had been burned before and was desperate for something different. General manager John Spytek introduced him the day after the draft.
So an exciting day for the Raiders organization and the Las Vegas community.
With measured but deliberate enthusiasm. Spytek emphasized that the decision wasn't made on hype alone, that Mendoza had distinguished himself through every phase of the evaluation process. He also went further, referencing something beyond physical ability.
And the way that he conducted himself in all of our one-on-one interactions during the draft process. So
The Raiders weren't just evaluating Mendoza's arm or his feet, they were evaluating the person. And everything about Mendoza's public presentation from the moment he was drafted reinforced that the person they evaluated was someone who understood the magnitude of what he was walking into. Because Mendoza's college resume wasn't just good, it was historically dominant. He led Indiana to a perfect 16-0 season. He won the Heisman Trophy. He won the Maxwell Award. He won the Davy O'Brien Award. He won the national championship. He did all of this after transferring from Cal Berkeley, where he'd already had a productive career, because his mother pushed him to take one more swing at his dream. His expected rookie contract was in the range of 4 years and roughly $57 million fully guaranteed. That kind of financial commitment to a 22-year-old tells you everything about what the Raiders believed they were getting. They believed they were getting the franchise quarterback they'd been searching for since the Russell catastrophe, the cornerstone of a rebuild that would finally move the organization out of the basement of the AFC West and into legitimate contention. Head coach Clint Kubiak laid out exactly what made him the guy, and it wasn't what most people expected from a coach evaluating a first overall quarterback selection.
Obviously, the number one thing that I love about Fernando is his leadership, the way that he relates to his teammates, and his ability to win.
Leadership, relationships with teammates, winning. That was the scouting report from the head coach. Not arm strength, not mobility, not release mechanics, the intangibles. And Kubiak described the precise moment during the draft process when he became certain Mendoza was the pick. It was at Pro Day where the coaching staff watched Mendoza operate live for the first time. He was said to be bossing his teammates around on a pro day, commanding every detail of the session, which painted the portrait of someone who wasn't just participating in the process, but controlling it. And then the meeting after the workout sealed it.
And then took him upstairs and talked football with him and just, listen to him communicate the game and how quickly he picked things up. Very liked how he played the game on film.
That's the head coach saying that the film was already impressive, but the in-person experience took it to another level. The way Mendoza communicated, the way he processed information, the speed at which he absorbed new concepts. All of this told Kubiak that this wasn't just a talented college quarterback, this was someone built for the professional game. But here's the tension that nobody was talking about yet. All of this praise, all of this institutional investment, all of this carefully constructed narrative about the next great Raiders quarterback, it made Mendoza a target. Because when a franchise puts this much weight behind a single player, when the media narrative frames him as the savior of a struggling organization, every misstep gets amplified tenfold. And for a fan base scarred by the ghost of Jamarcus Russell, the threshold for panic is extraordinarily low. So when a 22-year-old rookie got a calendar date wrong during a press conference, some people didn't see a scheduling mix-up. They saw the beginning of a pattern. And patterns, in the minds of fan bases, are what separate franchise quarterbacks from franchise disasters. Inside the building. While social media was seeing patterns of locker room rebellions, the man himself was in a hotel room in Henderson, Nevada, taking extra snaps under center with his rookie centers. Not because anyone told him to, because he wanted to.
I need more work under center, and it's great when we can be in the hotel getting 25 to 50 snaps each.
25 to 50 voluntary snaps per session at the team hotel after the official day of practice was already over. He was putting in the kind of extracurricular work that most rookies don't initiate in their first week, drilling the under-center mechanics that represented his biggest developmental gap, coming from a college career spent almost entirely in shotgun. The Raiders run Clint Kubiak's West Coast offense, the same system that produced a Super Bowl championship with Sam Darnold in Seattle the year before. Mendoza had been studying it long before his name was ever called on draft night.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl last year, so I saw a lot of him. I love watching NFL football on Sundays, so I watched a lot of Coach Kubiak.
Once he actually got to the facility and gained access to the coaching film, Mendoza took the preparation to an obsessive level.
Seeing Kirk Cousins do it back in Minnesota, seeing Sam Darnold do it last year in Seattle.
He wasn't just reading the playbook, he was watching the specific quarterbacks who had previously operated the system and studying how they did it. He was studying their footwork progressions, their eye discipline, the way their timing synced with route concepts, all of it before his second day of rookie minicamp had even started.
And then day 2, last night with the coaches really studying, okay, this is how Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold did it. This is how their footwork and eyes looked.
And when he was asked directly about the biggest technical challenge he faced in transitioning to the NFL game, the sophistication of his answer was remarkably revealing for someone who had been in the building for approximately 48 hours.
I believe it's the added footwork. Instead of being back there in shotgun, you have to get back to make sure you get depth so you can best serve your offensive lineman, still be on time.
Best serve your offensive lineman. That's not standard rookie vocabulary. That's the language of a quarterback who understands that his role extends beyond throwing the football. Fortunately for Mendoza, while the whole incident surrounding his pick makes him a potential target for players, there are still team members who genuinely identify his skills.
He's just a guy's guy, honestly. He just connects with everybody, super friendly, easy to talk to, getting to know everybody, so he's a great leader.
Fourth-round pick Kieran Crawford, a defensive end from Auburn, offered a different but equally telling perspective on Mendoza's impact within the rookie class. He also went further, describing the broader atmosphere of the entire Raiders building in terms that obliterate any suggestion of organizational discord. Now here's the thing.
But I feel like the entire building is like that. So that was one of the best things when I realized once my name was called, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be around a lot of good fucking people.
This is just one side of the story. The real narrative is still building up on the outside. The reality for Fernando Mendoza. While there might be a lot for Fernando Mendoza to look out for going forward, it's safe to say he's still doing something remarkable for a 22-year-old who had just had his life turned upside down. At his introductory press conference, he announced the creation of the Mendoza Family Fund, a charitable organization focused on fighting multiple sclerosis and giving back to the community. He said it was one of his pillars and a core part of his identity. His mother was in the room, and Mendoza credited her for everything.
And she essentially pushed me to take a swing at trying to become a great NFL player.
He told the story of how, after his third season at Cal Berkeley, his mother saw more in him than he saw in himself. She pushed him to transfer.
She said, hey, if you step to the plate, if you swing and you miss, at least in 20 years,
She told him to step to the plate and swing. She told him that in 20 years, he would at least know he did everything possible to chase his dream, and he swung.
And I stepped to the plate, and luckily enough, I was able to hit a home run last year.
That is who Fernando Mendoza is, a Cuban-American kid raised by 4 grandparents who immigrated from Cuba. A player who went from Cal to Indiana, learned a new system every single year of college, played in 3 different conferences, and came out the other side as the best player in the country. A quarterback who was named the Hispanic College Player of the Year and spoke at his press conference about what it meant to carry the torch for the Raiders' deep Hispanic legacy, the legacy of Jim Plunkett, Tom Flores, and a franchise that has long been one of the most connected to the Latino community in professional sports.
It means a lot as a Cuban American to come to this franchise and help try to carry the torch.
When Clint Kubiak was asked at the introductory presser about the moment he knew Mendoza was his guy, he spoke about how quickly he picked things up. The head coach said that after that visit, they knew they had their guy, and they could spend the rest of the draft process evaluating other players because the #1 pick was already decided. The truth about Fernando Mendoza is not complicated. He is a rookie quarterback who is doing exactly what a rookie quarterback should do. He is learning the playbook. He is taking extra snaps in hotel hallways. He is studying film of Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold, running the same offense he is about to learn.
And I'm officially a Raider. I'm excited to be humble and hungry and get to work.
Mendoza is already making a demand of himself, to be better today than he was yesterday, and to earn the right to wear the shield on his chest. And the world continues to watch how that turns out. So here's the real question. After everything that's happened, do you think Fernando Mendoza has a long future with the Las Vegas Raiders? Let me know what you think in the comments section. For more videos like this, click on this next card on your screen.